Hi. Sorry I haven't been here in a few days. I did try to get on over the weekend, but as I mentioned before, we have a private plane problem here at Teterboro. Um, we get a plane every 2 minutes, so that's 30 planes an hour, and that starts from that can start as early as 6 a.m. and could go as late as 12:30 at night. Now, we're lucky here in that respect that they only open up the runway that for this flight path only when the winds are in a certain direction. So we don't get it all the time. Usually in the spring, as the winds are changing, as it warms up, and the winds start moving to the south, then we'll have longer and longer breaks. So, and outside, because it's the Cherry Blossom Festival. It was cuckoo yesterday. Traffic, beeping. There's no place to park. People come to see cherry blossoms, and there were episodes of road rage. People were screaming at each other for parking spots. So I can't work with that kind of stress. So anyway, so today's quiet. It's Monday, April 14th, the day before tax day. I don't know about you. Nobody likes to pay taxes, but you do it because it goes to the functioning of our government. But this year, I don't even want to do that. I don't want to give money that's going to pay for, 47's $92 million military parade, or, he's stealing from, I know he's stealing from the treasury. I just know it in my gut that he's doing it. It's going to end up in his pocket. Why are we even paying taxes this year? They did away with oversight, so basically, the rich now, there's no one there to enforce the tax laws, so the rich should be strictly voluntary. I'm going to pay it, but might as well and I don't really owe a lot, so it's not the end of the world, but might as well take a match and just light it up, because it's doing the same thing. So, what do we want to talk about today? We'll start with what's going on in El Salvador. Garcia was mistakenly sent to a prison in El Salvador. And now they defied court orders, Supreme Court orders to return him. We knew this was coming. But I think he will be returned, and so would the other the other poor men that have been sent down there. I just don't know when. But the trauma and the physical abuse that they're experiencing down there, they'll never be the same. Never be the same. I think most of them will be given automatic citizenships. Families will probably end up suing the U.S. and getting big payouts. We'll probably end up having to take care of these men. What Trump did to them, and we should give them automatic citizenships. And they're saying, I don't know. The problem is with shipping out is that they're shipping these people to this Gulag in El Salvador without due process. No court hearings, nothing. They're just taking them and putting them on a plane. That's a slippery slope. Because if they're doing that with these immigrants, how long before they start doing it to you and me? they could come in the middle of the, they see this channel, they can come in the middle of the night and just take me. You don't think that's coming? If he's in power long enough, yes, it would happen. So people are going, well, it's just immigrants that were here in the. This is just where he's starting off. He will then eventually move on to LGBTQ, trans people, people of color, and as I said, white people who don't agree with him. How long before we all suddenly disappear? No, this is about us as well. And it's sad, but I'm reading Republicans right now there's some, but they're not, the Republicans aren't upset about this. They're like, yeah, take them. It's like, well, how long do they come before they come for you? So, yeah, all those brown people, who cares? Yeah, well, start caring about it because costs of building, we're going to have no construction workers, we're going to have nobody working in the field. Food prices are going to go up because of this, in addition to the tariffs. We won't have food shortages, but we won't have, we're all used to going into the supermarket and going to the produce department, just having, all this fruits and vegetables available. That's not going to be the case. And fruits and vegetables are going to become a hell of a lot more expensive. One of the reasons I'm in here, because my neighbor, for whatever reasons, is drilling downstairs. I wanted to show, I don't know if you can see over here, just a tip I've been wanting to share. The bunch of scallions that you can get in the grocery store? Don't throw them out. When you're done with them, take them, put them in a bottled water, spring water, filtered water. Distilled is best, but if you don't have that, and then put them in a warm, sunny spot, and they will continue to grow. So, and they'll grow for weeks. So this is a one cost-saving tip. Don't throw out your scallions after you're done with them. Put them in water and let them grow. That'll save you money. Yes, it smells a little like green onions in here, but I don't mind. And also, you can't see, and there's not much to look at, I'm also growing red peppers. You can grow them here in a pot. And I got the seed from a red pepper. So I didn't have to buy extra seeds. So these are some cost-saving tips that I'm implementing that maybe you could use. So what else do I want to talk about? It just breaks my heart. I mean, and you're hearing all this. They just arrested somebody. An immigrant was here to take his citizenship test. He was on his pathway to becoming a citizen. So he was and they lied to him, and I don't know his name, but yeah, they arrested him. He was taking a citizenship test, and they arrested him. Here in Newark, an Egyptian man has been trying to become a citizen for years, doing everything by the book, showing up for his appointments, doing whatever he needed to do, he was doing. He had a family, he had a job, no criminal record, because his dream was to become a citizen. So he showed up at immigration for his usual appointment, because he's doing everything he needed to do, and they said, oh, there was a mistake, you need to go over to ICE. So he happily went over there, and they detained him. And last I read in the paper, looks like he's going to be deported to back to Egypt. I mean, these are not criminals. These are people who came to this country for a better life and were trying to do everything by the book, whatever they needed to do, and they're still being deported. Um, I mean, this is not making America great. We are a melting pot. They are. Some Australian was coming in, entering the country, I guess through California. He was going to fly then to Florida and pick up a cruise. But because he flew economy, he had to make all these stops. So he went from Australia to someplace in Asia to some. So he kind of saved money. So he comes through immigration. They detained him. They said, well, his travel route was suspicious. And they put him back on a flight back all the way to Australia. This is going to decimate the tourism industry because foreigners are not going to want to come here anymore. So, and tourism is a huge part of our GDP. I mean, we got, besides theme parks, the national parks, say Miami, New York City is a huge tourist destination. We've got tourists, see the cherry blossoms here. We got the tour buses. People coming in from I think Korea. They come here and see. This is going to decimate the tourist industry. It might be good for me, actually, because airfare is about to get a lot cheaper. Even though we had another helicopter crash. I know I'm just kind of rambling on, but the helicopter crash over the Hudson, these tour operators, there have been noise groups and activists for years have been complaining and protesting against all they said that these accidents were going to happen because there's too many damn helicopters operating. But the FAA, even under Biden, did absolutely nothing about it. So we had the crash of a tour operator, and who they're investigating, but the tour company, which they should. I mean, not that, but they're not. The FAA is not looking at themselves. Well, maybe if we had put more safety regulations, this might not have happened. So all this will get straightened out. It'll take years, but eventually it will. What else? Someone was saying those poor men. There might be one or two, or that might be what M13, MS-13, whatever. But most of these are just innocent men. Just because literally because of the color of their skin, they got sent down to El Salvador. And Bukele and Trump, they're just laughing about it because they consider these men, as I said before, nobody cares, If you ain't white and you ain't rich, he don't care about you. And I will say this for the 1,000th time, Trump does not care about you. He couldn't care less. Grandma gets kicked, with all these Medicaid, grandma gets kicked out of the. He don't care. As long as his buddies get their tax cuts. All right. Let's get to the main. What did I want to look at? Let's change. We got the SAVE Act coming up. Will the SAVE Act pass? I don't know. I'm getting, even if it does, it'll be held up in the courts. I think there are ACLU and probably the blue state AGs are probably already gearing up for lawsuits. So like the birthright thing, which is still being held up in the courts, that still has not been enacted. Let's see. I forgot who said, was it Ed Markey? One of the Dems said that the SAVE Act was dead on arrival in the Senate. So let's see. And I've said this before, the Republicans will eventually break from him. Probably won't, but it won't happen until his poll numbers become lower. And there's more of a break within the Republican Party. I don't know, but I've seen polls where they said almost 90% of Republicans are still. I'm like, I don't know about that. But since the tariffs and all that other stuff really hasn't hit them yet, they're still staying with him. But once the high prices start to kick in on the tariffs, even though there's a 90-day pause, but he's carving out only for the high tech, now television sets, all that stuff. Manufacturing ain't never coming back to this country, folks. It just isn't. We should be moving forward. We should be manufacturing iPhones here. Factories, the iPhone factories in China, their employees, I'm not sure how it works, but they seem to live there. They have little dormitory style places, and the employees almost live there. And they had to put suicide nets up because so many employees were committing suicide. So, yeah, let's bring that to the U.S. And what I want to say, China, and Xi Jinping, as I said before, Xi Jinping is laughing at Trump. He's the one who's playing 3D chess, and it's been in the news. China owns a lot of U.S. bonds. They also own a lot of our debt, too. Xi Jinping can call that in at any time. So that's why Trump caved. I'm not as worried about the stock market. The stock market goes up, it goes down. It's not the economy. When the stock market goes down, though, it's his buddies losing money. That's really what it's all about. So I'm not as yes, it's 401ks, and it would really only affect you if you wanted to start to take out now. If you can hold off, please do. Let's take a look, but I want to take a look at the SAVE Act, because that would disenfranchise millions of mostly women. Yes, there are men who do change their names, but it's mostly Republican women, and mostly this will hit Republican women, and in rural areas when women get married, they change their names. I thought that was dying out, but I guess women are still doing whatever. Your choice. If that's what you want to do, then groovy. All right, let's take a look at the SAVE Act. Will the SAVE Act pass in the Senate? So I'm getting it'll end up going nowhere. I think even if it does pass, it'll get held up in the courts. Oh, you see the AP? They got the injunction against the White House that they were allowed back into press conferences, so they showed up and they were still barred. They may end up, well, they sued. They may end up suing again. And this just came to me. A lot of these families of these poor men who are sitting in the El Salvador, they're going to go after, not the government, watch them go after Trump personally and start suing him. May not be until after he leaves, but you got to hit him where it hurts, and that's in the pocketbook. Then that's when he sits up and listens. All right, let's go back and take a look at the SAVE Act. I know I'm kind of jumping around here. All right, will the SAVE Act pass in the Senate? It might. It'll be a close vote, though, because I think a lot of Republicans are going to vote against it. Because not only is it because of women, it will give actually Elon Musk the right to go through our voter rolls in each state and start purging rolls. So I mean, like somebody, me, who's a longtime Democratic voter, I might find myself suddenly unenrolled. Yeah. And then it's going to have a tough time in the Senate, as the world is watching. It's not a slam dunk. It's the gist of what the cards, because everybody's watching, especially the women. So they have to be careful. Will the SAVE Act pass in the Senate? Maybe not. It's the one senator, I think Ed Markey, I can't remember, said that it would be dead on arrival in the Senate. But then, the money. Oh, we'll make donations to your campaign if you pass the bill. So, well, pass in the Senate. It might. I'm just not getting any clear answers. Plan of action says that the donations, I think. You got a plan of action to kind of maybe twist some arms. Let's put it this way. It's not a slam dunk. It's not a slam dunk in the Senate. Let's take a look. And as I said, even if it does pass the Senate and the idiot signs it, it will be held up in the court. So I don't think this is going to. Let's ask. I don't use, the thing with the fancy stone, but let's ask. Will the SAVE Act pass in the Senate? Yeah, but I'm getting a very weak yes. It's not going to be overwhelming. I think, will some Republicans break? Will some Republicans break with and vote with the Democrats? Yes, I'm getting an overwhelming yes. But it will pass by, you know, just by the skin of its teeth. Yeah. And then, of course, Dum Dum's going to sign it, right? And then it'll get, will it be challenged in the courts? Yes. And will the courts uphold it? No. Will the Supreme Court go for it? No. No. I think what's going to happen, I could be wrong, but I think I think it might pass in the Senate. I think by the skin of its teeth, the idiot will sign it. But then it'll get held up in the courts, and it'll go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will say, nah. Here's the thing, and this is what I got this morning when Dum Dum defied the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to be like, wait a minute. We told you, and you're defying us? Well, F you. Watch how they're going to go against him a lot more often. Unless Leonard Leo picks up the phone, and Leonard Leo may not. Watch the Supreme Court start ruling against him a lot more often. I mean, it's hard to enforce bringing these men back, but stuff like the SAVE Act, the birthright, they may give them a little bit of a win on the birthright, but not much. But they're going to start saying, well, the hell with you. Excuse my language. We're not going to rule against you. All right. I'll leave it here because it's 26 minutes. I will then, obviously for entertainment purposes only, like, subscribe, share. Don't throw out your scallions. And I'll see you in the next vid. Bye.